after talking to him and driving his Ram and seeing what the cam that he had could do with supporting modifications, it started opening my eyes to going down the cam route, because I was sitting there thinking, like, it doesn't sound like much, like, oh, a gain of 50 horsepower, you're spending, like 3 grand or, around that ballpark for just that. But then once you start putting the pieces in place around that cam, your performance really starts skyrocketing. Forced air and a cam. And a while back, I was forced to make a decision between the two of them, which direction that I wanted to go in. And as we all know, I ended up going with a cam. And there's a few reasons why, but to be perfectly blunt, it had to do with money. Okay, that's really the biggest reason why you would choose a cam over forced air. And I know a lot of people love, to do the naturally aspirated build, etc. And, it definitely makes life a lot more interesting if you choose to go down that, naturally aspirated road. That being said, let me tell you, when you put forced air on your vehicle, it is just unbelievable. The amount of horsepower, the potential of your car just skyrockets. So why didn't I go forced air? What was really the deciding factor? So I was pricing everything out, and the best price that I could find was about $7,000, and the performance shop that was going to do it was going to upgrade the fuel pump, the fuel injectors, put a new T-stat in there, a couple other goodies, along with the actual Procharger kit itself. And that was about $7,000, okay? And it was two states away, okay? The performance shops around me will just rob you, basically. So, the price quote that I got, I thought it was really good. And you know what? For 7 grand, if I could walk away with zero problems at all with the RT, I think I would definitely have done it, okay? But, after watching some of the cars out there and getting some advice from other people that have done the forced air, it takes a lot of revisions with the tune and getting the engine fine-tuned and everything like that. And I kind of got scared off, to be honest with you. I really started thinking that if I'm going to do forced air, if I want to do forced air, I should probably try and forge the internals and build the engine so that it can properly handle the forced air. Now, a lot of people, they run the 7 or 8 PSI. They don't have any kind of issues whatsoever. I'm not saying that it can't, but, I wanted to do it right, because if you put 7 or 8 pounds of forced air in your Charger, and you don't have the internals that can properly handle that increased airflow, you could have some big problems. And that's something that I didn't really want to get involved with. And so, I think, that tug of war was going on in my head. And, when you started adding up how much everything was going to be running me, it kind of scared me a little bit, If I found a performance shop that was close to me, I probably would have felt a little bit more comfortable. But then I started hanging out with Nick, Incredible Hemi. And after talking to him and driving his Ram and seeing what the cam that he had could do with supporting modifications, it started opening my eyes to going down the cam route, because I was sitting there thinking, like, it doesn't sound like much, like, oh, a gain of 50 horsepower, you're spending, like 3 grand or, around that ballpark for just that. But then once you start putting the pieces in place around that cam, your performance really starts skyrocketing. And after driving a cammed Ram, I started thinking, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like with a Charger. It started just making me think more and more down that cam route, and the financial burden of that upgrade was doable for me. Okay, I'm not saying that I couldn't afford the forced air. I just liked the level of certainty that the cam was bringing to the table. After talking with Nick, he basically took me through the entire process. He's had it in for a long time, no problems, and like the cam was more of a safer play in my eyes, and I think that was really a big advantage of the cam as opposed to the forced air. Each person that I would talk to with a forced air, like Das Lamas, to be honest with you, he freaked the hell out of me out. He was talking about going to the drag strip and making sure your temperatures are good and this and that, because he didn't do this with the forced air and you could do that. Yeah, I mean, it literally scared the hell out of me. I didn't want to really go forced air if I wasn't going to be able to get everything that was needed to run it properly, and I just don't want to screw up my car. So I got cold feet on that, and the cam just started looking more and more like a better choice at that point. Now, like I said, I'm not going to ever rule out forced air. If I end up doing it, I'll probably do it. I'll just spend the $10,000 to $15,000 to forge the internals, get the engine ready to handle forced air. Okay. And, please don't take this as a knock to anybody that, does it the other way and just runs the 7 or 8. That is not my intention. This video is more so directed towards those that were trying to figure out why I chose the cam over a Supercharger. And, if I had, 10, 15 grand laying around, I probably would have done the forced air along with the cam, and I would have crushed it at the drag strip. But I'm definitely not made of money, and yeah, all right, guys, so that's pretty much the thought process behind why I chose the cam. I don't have any regrets about going cam. The performance of the RT has been unbelievable. It's just a matter of me trying to figure out how to launch this sucker, get it off the ground, and you just get it moving. And the increased performance has certainly changed the dynamic of the RT, and I just zero regrets. But there's certainly more modifications to come, and yeah, stay tuned, guys.